Hello and welcome to another Kangaroo English Daily Digest. My name is Christian and today is Tuesday, best day of the week. I couldn't upload a digest yesterday because on Sunday I worked very late. And so yesterday I was like a zombie. Wasn't good, so I didn't, nobody wants to see Christian the zombie. So I wanted to start today by telling you a joke. I thought it was funny. So anyway, there's a primary school class, and primary school, so the kids are like 10, maybe 10, okay? So the teacher asks the class, okay, children, which part of the human body increases to 10 times its normal size when the person is excited? and little Julia at the back of the class says, Teacher, that's a disgusting question. How can you even ask that question? We're only 10 years old. And the teacher said, what do you mean, Julia? And then little Johnny puts up his hand and said, Miss, the answer is the pupil. The pupil in the eye expands to 10 times its normal size when the person is excited. And the teacher says, very good, Jimmy, very good. And the teacher goes over to little Julia and says, I need to tell you two things, young lady. The first thing is that you have a dirty mind. And the second thing is that in the future, you are going to be very disappointed. I don't know, I thought it was funny. I was in bed last night laughing at that joke. Well, let's talk about today's word of the day. Today's word of the day is mettle. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Christian, you spelt the word metal wrong. It's metal. Well, actually, this comes from the same Latin origin, the same Latin root, but it has a different meaning. Metal is a noun. This metal is a noun. And it means strength, fortitude, bravery, right? And so you can understand it. It makes sense. If you're a steel, hard metal person, then you are strong and brave and you have fortitude, right? Metal. So you could say, for example, that that soldier had a lot of metal to go in there and into that building, or she has a lot of metal talking to me like that, or and also it's there is an adjective, mettlesome. She's a mettlesome person, but it sounds a bit old-fashioned. But I like metal; it's nice. And I'm trying to make the link here. And I think something that requires metal, something that requires strength, is to get married, right? Because it's a commitment for life, so it requires strength. Now, here's a question. How can you predict if you will stay together in the future or if you will separate in the future? Is it possible to predict this? Yes, it is. It is possible, right? Now, what do you think is the best way to predict this? Probably it would be to have an analysis, no? Like you go as a couple, husband and wife, or boyfriend and girlfriend, partners, whatever. You go and there's a human, a specialist human, a counselor, or a psychologist who can look at your behavior and talk to you and ask you questions about your life and ask you questions about your relationship and based on that, based on years of psychological training, based on analysis of your answers to your questions, based on years of clinical experience, they can predict in the future if you will stay together or not. Now, let me tell you something scary, very scary. There is a computer program that can tell you if you will stay together or not, and it is more accurate than a human. It can tell you with 79.6% accuracy, so almost 80% accuracy, if you will stay together in the future or not. And the way that it works is incredible. It's related to language. It doesn't look at your vocabulary. It doesn't look at the meanings of any of your sentences. It doesn't look at your grammar, nothing. All it does is look at the sound of your voice. It analyzes the sound waves. And based on those sound waves, it predicts whether you'll stay together or not. Does that blow your mind? It blew my mind. It's incredible to think that this is even possible. Okay, so let me show you the article. Okay, so here it is. It's in PLOS ONE, okay, which is a very well-respected journal, and it's called Predicting Couple Therapy Outcomes Based on Speech Acoustic Features. Okay, so they recorded, hang on a second, let me just sort this out. Yeah, so they recorded couples speaking for how long? For 2 years. For 2 years, okay? So they had 2 years with a 2 years with a psychologist who analyzed them, and then after 2 years, they gave the audio to a computer. Now, the computer analyzed 3 things, okay? Where are they? Here they are. The first one is the spectral features, which is prosody. So it says here that, prosody is like pitch and tone, loudness, and that's the next one, prosodic features. So for example, pitch and intensity and jitter and shimmer, which are related to harmonics to noise ratio, noise level, and actually here's a graph which is probably better to understand, okay? So look at this, right? So here, the red dots are couples who separated. Okay? So the red dots are represented by couples who split up, and the blue dots represent couples who stayed together. And you can see that couples who stayed together were louder. Okay, so they spoke louder, and they also had a higher pitch. So basically, if you speak really loud to each other and you speak higher, not lower, if you speak higher, then there's more probability that you will stay together. And that explains why my mother-in-law is still married. And yeah, it says here that where is it? It says here that where is it? Oh man. Sorry, just 1 second. Maybe it says here. Okay, it says here. Yeah, the algorithm was purely based on sound recordings, without considering any visual information. It ignored the content of the conversations, the words themselves. It picked up features like cadence, pitch, and how long each participant talked for. So there you go. There's so much information contained only in the audio, like the actual just pure audio signal. And that's a scary thing to me. I think a little bit scary. Well, anyway, I hope that you found this interesting, and thank you very much to my patrons on Patreon and to all of you for watching. I'm Christian. This is Canguro English. I'll see you in class.